And what Cheese MVP have been playing. Even looking in solo queue, I wasn't seeing any Scions, so apparently Kingzone knows something we don't. Have to ask them later. Maybe I can get some words out of them, but somehow in 2018 Summer, MVP drawing Scion bans.
Well, I mean, you do understand that ADD is good at it, but they're going to ban Kled as well. They don't want to first pick it, and they don't want to let it go over to the other team, so no hovers anymore either.
Can't hover it if we ban it.
Yeah, or pick it. They're showing us both of the ways you can preserve the mental of Kingzone, as Nocturne is going to hit the bench. These are the SKT bans coming in here, as Talia Nocturne going to be the first two for MVP.
Tier list bans, it seems like Kingzone are banning whatever they want. So far it's kind of two junk bans, so Kingzone are trying to say, we want to first pick something strong like an Aatrox potentially.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Aatrox, Kingzone? Are we going to ban it ourselves?
They banned it on red side in game number 1. Certainly a consideration. Is Kindred going to be banned? I'm very upset, but this is confusing. Are they pricing us into more Sejuani Trundle?
That's the god matchup everyone wants to see. The 2018 version of Renekton versus Shyvana. Let's do it. Aatrox banned.
It's the fun police. We aren't seeing any of the good stuff today. Oh no, Talon is available.
Hey.
First pick Sejuani. We ready?
You know who else
Swain?
is available? Your boy Rakan is available.
Hey, that's true.
And Xayah as well. Wonder what that will mean. Speaking of available, the troll girl in Zoe is available.
Yeah, she's going to be locked in too. BDD going to try his hand at the Zoe. She's been a very high priority pick, but Yukal had some troubling times on her yesterday as Hanwha had dispatched their Zoe. So we'll see whether BDD can have a redeeming performance.
Do we Xayah Rakan here as MVP is a question worth discussing. MVP, considering their options, they know both are available. They're going to prize the Morgana. Could be Maha on the Morgana. Could also be in the support role.
Yeah, could be sort of anywhere at the moment. Xayah Rakan both slipped through picks and bans completely in game number 1.
Oh, look at this jungle pick.
Oh, wow.
It's Yondu's famous Sejuani. He is one of the better Sejuani players we have in Korea, so...
That's not good enough. I know, yes, he's great Sejuani, but that doesn't make the matchup any more interesting, Papa Smithy.
Well, I can't disagree with you on that, but maybe, just maybe, Peanut will play Nidalee.
Hey, that's true. No, he's not. Oh, God, is this really going to happen?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so I guess we switched it around so that he's playing the other side of the matchup.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Still 1 second to change Nidalee. He's not that changed.
Hopefully this is Gorilla playing Trundle support.
Or Khan.
Oh, yeah. We baiting out the Mundo top?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Give us that Troll versus Mundo matchup.
Well, I think our chances are quite slim on happy news involving the jungle matchup. But maybe another matchup can be interesting. Come on, Kingzone. Summon up a new pick.
Well, they might wait until the next round in the draft in order to do that.
Oh, good.
Mundo.
A new pick.
Yeah, a new pick. There we go. Great. Good stuff. Damn, we had the spiciest draft ever in game 1, and now we've got the least interesting draft.
You realize we've become entitled when it comes to pick bans.
We are a little bit.
Remember, 8.1 wasn't that long ago, where everything was just the worst.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
We are here in 8.13 land, by the way. 8.13, no hot fixes.
Ooh, and 8.13, the land of Syndras, and MVP pretty happy about picking that one up for Ian. Even going to lock it in himself, and his coach gives him that wrap around the shoulders and says, all right, go to it, my friend.
We did see
that was
Syndra
the matchup.
getting dumpstered yesterday by, Zoe getting dumpstered yesterday by Syndra. So, let's see how much the matchup is tilted to the way of Syndra. You understand the mechanics do mean that Syndra should have a pretty good matchup, but a triumphant one to the tune of 30 CS, that would be a surprise. But it's what we saw from Lava against Yukal when Hanwha faced Katie Rolster yesterday.
Yeah. Bit of a disgusting performance, honestly. Hanwha with that 2-0 was very impressive. Now MVP, what are they going to ban away? Soraka gone already. Is Darius to be taken away on the side of
Tom
Kingzone?
Kench. They're going for an MVP pick comp. Please ban the Tom Kench.
Well, the Vladimir is going to be the ban, so they don't listen to you, Papa.
Nope.
Guess they can't. We don't have it in our ears. We should probably get that one put into the booth. We'd give them so much useful information.
Well,
however, not going to be the case. And the last ban for Kingzone is coming in. The Vladimir respect ban to Prey is interesting. Probably happy to not play it again in this next game. Is Cannon going to be taken away? The standard bans if you want to protect your Mundo.
So, let's see what's happening here for the side of MVP. Do they have something new from ADD to target the Khan Mundo?
Do they take Tahm Kench and then run a Morgana Tahm Kench lane to try and pick it away?
I'm not a big fan, but I understand kind of why you're positing it, and it does seem like maybe Morgana is going to be in the carry position. Now, it could be Shen top. We don't mention it that often because Shen has been almost exclusively a support pick. But there's many schools of thought on how you should lane against a Mundo, and with Darius and Kennen gone, most of the good stuff is gone. Could just Orin last pick, I guess.
Could be an option here.
I wonder if he will pick Tahm Kench against a pick comp.
Wow, that would be a very interesting idea.
What would be the most boring final pick? Would it be Varus?
I think Varus...
Varus would be the most boring.
Ezreal would be the most boring.
Oh,
that's
Varus
the
is more
Genji
boring.
special. And we know that Genji are generally pretty boring when it comes to picking champions, so I think Ezreal's the most boring here. That'd trigger me the most. However, we seem to be getting your pick as far as the most boring.
Has the most laning strength, so it's probably going to be the Varus. Could a draft be more boring? Has science gone too boring?
I think it has. Kingzone DragonX have discovered how to go from a really entertaining draft to the least entertaining draft in the matter of one game.
All right, let's see a way to break open the game. What we're doing, MVP, that would break open the game.
This would be less boring, because this would mean Shen top.
Yeah, maybe I was right about Shen top one time.
Or unless it's going to be Kai'Sa top.
Oh, it's going to be a Camille. Well, this matchup didn't go so well into Mundo last time. Let's see how we see ADD do on the Camille top. That's what we're going to see in this particular game. We had a moment there where we got excited, but quickly,
we were punished for that yesterday. Damn it, when will we learn? All right, well, it's going to be the ADD Camille. Not necessarily his flavor of champion, and it's a dangerous matchup for the Camille, honestly. Doesn't feel like a great move. As soon as Khan gets his Sunfire cape, he basically just doesn't care about what the Camille is doing, and we'll see whether MVP can utilize the pick potential of their composition before Kingzone just runs over them in the laning phase. Ian's lane might be the option as far as getting things going for MVP.
I'm having a premonition of a Mundo with Merc Treads and Spirit Visage running at Syndra and Morgana, and that sounds really sad for the Syndra and Morgana.
Yeah.
So, seems like this is going to be a hard carry Mundo game unless we see something big come out of the side of MVP. Now the Camille, initiation CC, the Mundo squishy early. They're going to have to get this game rolling, MVP, because the late train's been cancelled. They got about 25 minutes to take it over.
Yeah, and we saw Linderung yesterday. I believe it was Linderung that just pretty much built only magic resist and was impossible to kill. Didn't matter how many Morellonomicons you have when he's got 1 billion magic resist and none of your buttons actually do anything.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a pretty happy time for Khan in the late game. He wants to go 6-6 on his Mundo. Sadly, 3 losses in Rift Rivals hurt his overall season KDA, but OGN doesn't use those stats, so he could go 6-3, excluding Rift Rivals.
Yeah, and this could all be done in the laning phase if the Mundo gets a decent run, if the Zoe gets a decent run in the mid lane, which could be a big problem, could certainly spell the end for MVP. However, looking over the other side, if things get rolling for MVP, they might be able to roll over the top.
And who will pick up the King DDD trophy in this particular game? ADD wants a turnaround performance, making the Camille work into the Mundo. That would make us a believer.
Well, in game number 1, I felt like they probably should have subbed in CDD because ADD wasn't necessarily working and BDD really did stand out on top. We'll see whether it's going to be a similar case this time around. Remember, this dude's really good at solo queue. He's just got to translate that onto the LCK stage. We are potentially going for a little bit of a remake here, guys, so we're just going to wait to get into our first match. It might take a little long, says Joel in our head, which is worrying news because I haven't had that information given to me very often. We've had 40-minute pauses before.
That's true. We're not much for forecasts here in Korea. Weather forecasts, I know a lot of people that ignore them.
Yeah.
Break time forecasts, they're often flippant at best, so not sure exactly how long you have to wait, guys. We'll see if we have to roll out a second podcast on the day. We don't usually release 2 episodes in one
No, it's
day.
true. That seems like too much. We don't want to, like, just smash it down your throats. We want to make sure that we stagger the release dates.
You want people to savor the podcast.
Yeah, we haven't actually, have we spoken about, you know, release schedule for when it is actually going to come out, Papa Smithy? Like, Papa's Mad Life, what are we going to get? Like, once a week when it does start up?
We're trying to get it specific, but once a while.
Once a while.
Yeah.
Once a while, the specific trajectory of Papa's Mad Life. Sounds like it's on brand as far as the name.
Would you prefer from time to time?
I don't know. Which one's longer? Which one's shorter?
Perchance it'll be tomorrow, perchance it won't.
I want that one. That's my favorite. Of course, because it's the most wordy variety.
Well, I do try to say big words I don't understand sometimes.
Don't we all? And then just hope that maybe they made a little bit of sense, or maybe no one else understood either, so it sounded okay. We had Joel in our ear, by the way, guys. It's not going to be quite as long as we're expecting. So if you're looking forward to League of Legends, that's great news. If you're looking forward to a second podcast of the night, it's not such good
But if it's going to be a little long, and it's not as long as we expected, we actually still don't have anything tangible. We've managed to go multiple sentences from 3 people, and nothing of value has been said.
Much like the Papa's Mad Life podcast trajectory.
Much like most of my analysis.
We are now reconnecting the players as well. So hopefully we can reconnect the analysis, we can reconnect the podcast, because we've figured out how to reconnect the players, which is probably a good start.
I've played enough multiplayer games to know that sometimes connection issues can dog you for a while, because you reconnect and they have trouble. We might even be on screen. Adjust your duds accordingly.
I know, I had to put my shirt back on. Oh, here we go. Figured it all out.
Why are you taking your shirt off during Kingzone versus MVP?
Well, I didn't want to have to answer that question, Papa Smithy, but now I guess I have to. It's frustrating. No, not on screen just yet. Got my shirt on, so you can just assume that I never took it off. There we are. Perfect.
We're getting the
Saved
update.
it.
The computers are being rebooted.
Play,
do you reckon it's like Reboot, the television show that no one in chat would have watched?
Oh my god, you're revealing how old you are.
Did you know they rebooted Reboot?
Yes, I did.
I saw it and I got sad. What is the thing that got rebooted from your childhood that you actually feel the worst about? Because for me,
Power Rangers.
It's okay. That's a good one.
Definitely Power Rangers.
Because Power Rangers Season 1 versus the rest. I was never a Power Rangers guy, but I can understand where you're coming from. The reboot that hurt me the most is when I saw the later versions of the Cocoa Pops ads, when they went from the 2D to the 3D, and the monkey just was not as charming at all.
I remember the Wheaties ads. I think they did the same thing for those, but they went to live action instead of cartoon,
Fruit Loops
and
ones
that was terrible.
Also tragedy.
And the Wheaties ads were great because his name was Wee Willie Weedy instead of Wee Willie
Say that
Winky.
3 times fast.
Well, I said it twice and slightly differently, so I think that I'm just going to leave it at that and then hope that we're good. Another reboot that was terrible, Ninja Turtles, Papa Smithy. Oh, it was so beautiful. Their turtle suits and stuff like that, and then it was all like CGI.
Let's be real. Sometimes you go back to your childhood cartoons, and they're just not as good as you remember.
Yeah. Nostalgia, thankfully, is pretty good at
What have you
developing good
returned to
hindsight.
and then been like, all right, this is as good as I remembered, from like a cartoon, right? Not from a movie that you remember as an 8-year-old, but what cartoons have you gone back to and been like, all right, this is actually good?
I immediately thought of Degrassi High. That one is pretty
Isn't that
good
the
on
one
the
still
rewatch.
going?
Yeah, I think so.
That
And
was
they had
the
a
one
movie
that,
as well that was recently released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still going, so I think in Canada or something like that.
Yeah.
Degrassi's Canadian, right?
I think
Why
so.
didn't you give the Aussie version of Heartbreak High?
Because
Yeah.
that was terrible.
I never watched it.
Yeah,
But
that's an example like Neighbours. You know, we ship Neighbours overseas, and then all of the British people are like, "This is the best thing ever."
British
However,
people love that
they
show.
loved that show. That's why it kept getting made and kept getting ran at like 6 p.m. when I get home from school and I want to turn on the TV to watch something good. And then it's Neighbours.
Only, 90s kids will know this, but if you went home, turned on TV, and Neighbours was on, it means you missed The Simpsons.
That's true.
It
And
was
it's
right
the
after The
most-
Simpsons.
Oh yeah, it was 6:30, wasn't
know.
it? Oh, I made the mistake because
Whenever
I
you
wanted to
turned it on
forget.
and Neighbours, like the credits were on, you're like, oh, this is a pretty catchy song, but I
Yeah.
missed The Simpsons.
Which is like the complete opposite of what happens in the morning, because if you turn it on and it's, Dragon Ball Z,
speaking of turning
then it
on-
means you missed Pokemon, but who cares about that because we got a video game to run. Let's get into Game 2, MVP Kingzone.
One day you'll tell a story.
Yeah, it is not this day, Papa Smithy. Today, we cast. As finally, we cast. Peanut fans in the audience. Peanut, of course, coming in to try and get some of his redemption. Cuz got some, didn't play over at Rift Rivals, however, still suffered along with his team. Can't get to miss his first briefcase. It's good news for Ian. As Max and Maha just take a whole bunch of free damage.
Seeing Prey, and look at this, Atlas. I spy, with my little eye, an Arcane Comet on Prey, and we've only seen Arcane Comet from one other Varus. Coincidentally, someone who's not currently playing for MVP.
And when we first got the new runes, that was the old lethality Varus, wasn't it, Papa Smithy? So is that going to once again be Prey maxing out that Q, getting that poke happening?
Well, Morgana, you know, she deals really well with a Varus build where you have to auto-attack her 700 times because she just puts the black shield on and leaves.
Yep.
Doesn't deal so well with a magic damage shield against some sick AD burst.
Yeah, massive AD burst. And Varus, so much flexibility. You can go auto-attack focused, you can go AP focused, which is what we've seen from Deft in the past, or you can do this one, theoretically, as long as he's doing it based on the build. You can do this one where you just smash in a whole bunch of lethality in AD and use all of your spells.
Again, Arcane Comet doesn't force you to go one way or the other. Could just be for more chip harass, but again,
yeah,
we saw
phase.
it once and we have to reference it because MVP is in the game. Peanut himself whacking away on this top lane Scuttle. He really wants that one desperately, but it's going to be a trade of Scuttles. Well, not Spo TV, we don't have the counter, but looks to be going 1-1 very short.
Yeah, and we'll see whether he does book it. He might actually head through the mid lane, and he is going to do so. Peanut going to do the same thing, head towards the bottom side of the map. Wards are down here for MVP, and Maha, though, has not been able to move into this lane. And when lane priority goes the way of the blue side team, means that the blue side jungler should be able to grab that Rift Scuttler, and does do so very easily. Not a lot of jungle for Yondu to head to now. Gorilla just going to lick Max a little bit on the bottom side.
And a 2-0 on the Scuttles, as he was able to get both, so happy times for the Trundle.
We were having a chat to Peanut about who the best jungler was, and we said that, you know, you can't look past score. It was his birthday at the time as well. And then we did reference the fact that he got double Rift Scuttlers, so hopefully after this game he comes up to us and says, am I now the best jungler? I double Rift Scuttle. Maybe he'll get 3 in a row.
He definitely wasn't happy to hear when we mentioned the name Score in front of his name.
Yeah.
But we were able to cheer him up by the fact that we were like, well, if you think about it, it's literally 3 years of people either saying Score or Peanut. There wasn't really a third name involved in the conversation. If RNG just stuck to MLXG or Karsa, I think Karsa especially,
I think so too.
there would have been an argument there, but otherwise, Peanut and Score forever.
Well, Peanut doesn't want to be in his shadow. Wants to now step out from under it. Does need to definitely show himself on the international stage, but damn it, so does Score. Rift Rivals being the only example that we've had for quite some time, and not one that really has very many implications as far as championships are concerned. See what he can do, whether he can get over to Worlds when it is on his home soil.
And I need to understand this Camille into Mundo situation. Now, around level 6 and 7, I can get it. One item, getting a Sheen, do some sick burst damage, but it seems like in the late game you're trapped in with Mundo, and Mundo loves to opt into those situations. So, not really understanding it unless you get a lot done early. We'll see when early is defined as. Previous game was definitely done pretty early. This would qualify as early.
Yeah. Khan, we'll see whether he steps back to actually focus on this phone call instead of having to deal with this Sejuani.
They're really hoping he greeds for the cannon. But you can see Trundle, Peanut trying to do his best Cuz impression and be ahead of the play.
Well, Yondu's going to move his way in. Khan hasn't actually overextended too much, but will get stunned, is under the turret, however, and MVP will just have to take a flash.
Walks up, he knows his jungler is there for the lane gank. I think that was well played by Khan. He held onto his flash as long as he could. He judged the situation, understood the Peanut wasn't there for a counter gank, and no harm, no foul. We'll just leave. Lane control pretty exclusively to ADD, and we do know that Yondu and ADD will have a very big acquisition range if he ever overextends a second time.
Oh, and I wanted this so bad. Prey's going to go back. He's going to pick up his Tear of the Goddess to make sure that we're stacking. We're trying to get all of that mana, so the piercing arrows are going to come through thick and fast. It's one of my favorite builds over the Varus, always has been.
So, Prey has always been one of the best when it comes to builds. He was the first to go for the Essence
and one of the best when it
Ashe.
comes to landing skill shots as well.
That part I'll get to, but what I want to talk about here specifically is consider the comp he's building the Lethality Varus against. What was Lethality Varus good at, and what was on-hit Varus good at? Well, we've seen a lot of on-hit Varus since basically Rageblade became the exclusive choice at Worlds. In this particular game, if he walks up, he gets flashed on by 800,000 people, including the Syndra.
Yep.
And Varus, if you go Lethality, doesn't have to be in range of the enemy ever. He just 1,000 range Qs from long range. If you're never actually closing the gap on Varus, if he's doing damage off the screen, then Syndra, a mid-range mage, Morgana, a mid-range mage can't impact the fight as hard, and this is Prey saying, against this opposition, I can still be relevant if I tune my Varus build in a way that we haven't seen from anyone other than Pilot.
Especially when there's not a lot of kill threat coming in from this lane. Maha's just going to be shoving minions into the Varus, and a lot of the reason why we saw this drift away was the fact that starting off with a tier is so dangerous in a laning phase that can go all sorts of different ways with all sorts of different champions down there as well. So I like it for a whole multitude of reasons, Papa. We'll see whether this time around the Lethality Varus is going to work. Because last time, I believe you were a bit critical.
And let's also talk about it if we see what we usually see with Morgana in the carry position, which is the support. Maybe it's a Pike. We saw, of course, our good friend Effort pop off on the Pike in a pretty similar scenario. Your support can roam, and definitely Stand United could be the roaming tool to try to pile onto the top lane here and kill Khan a few times. In that scenario, if you're going on-hit Varus, well, you can't actually dive the Morgana. She'll be pretty healthy, and you can't alter because of the Black Shield. If you're going Lethality Varus, you max Q, you poke her, she's low health and might die whether you hit an ultimate or not. So for this scenario, where you want to punish Morgana in the mid to late game with your range and in lane, by actually having threat on her and forcing her out of lane, Lethality Varus makes a lot of sense. So this time out, I agree, Atlas, I like it.
Yeah. And he's going to land his skills there, and look, it seemed like Gorilla getting caught was actually a boon for Kingzone, meaning that this lane that Maha should be able to handle, he just put down a puddle and BK in. It's not necessarily going super well. Kingzone will push this up to the turret. That puddle will be utilized, but look at it, 77 to 45. This is a disaster for MVP.
Well, the thing is, his support does nothing, so Maha kind of has to lane this 1v2 because Shen just really can't do much against Varus in general, and Tahm Kench also removes the threat of an all-in as a rule. And so, because his support can't do anything, the puddle is always going to be in a weird spot because they keep moving the minion wave away to try to deny it, just getting a load of resets. Speaking of denial, Peanut wants to actually kill ADD and give Mundo an even freer time.
Yep, he's going to run in as well. ADD does grab his shield, but now it's just a 1v1 between the Trundle and the Camille. ADD, very nice use of the hookshot to get him through the Pillar of Filth.
Really nicely played by AD. If he ever tries to hookshot off a wall and get away, it gets interrupted instantly by the pillar, so he waits for the pillar and jumps over it with the hookshot. You cannot make a hookshot play there to actually disengage like you would against other champions because of the terrain creation. ADD problem solves it, gets out, well played.
Yeah, nicely done by ADD, demonstrating why he's so good at the solo queue. But Yondu looking to try and challenge Khan. Has thrown down the ultimate, used it just to heal himself back up earlier. However, MVP didn't want to opt in. Not sure why they decided so instantly to back away.
Out of respect to the teleport, you'd have to imagine. Otherwise, a chase for a kill seemed like a smart choice.
Interesting that there wasn't very many teleports available, but strange.
No worries.
Yeah.
Kingzone going to keep pushing in the bot side, trying to make something happen here. Tier Varus back again. Seems like it's going to be situational. When it overtook the meta, we didn't like it so much. It's a bit uninteractive, but in a game where otherwise the Varus might just be completely owned by a Syndra, I do like its situation.
We have to remember the fact that this was the most boring draft ever, so we needed to find something interesting, and Lethality Varus is interesting compared to what we've seen so far in the meta.
Well, we wondered what Kingzone brought back from China. Well, they bought some watches while they were there. They got 5 of them this game.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Want to show off their cool timepieces.
A lot of people pretty keen on the inspiration tree, as you can see. It's being taken by everyone. They're the free ones.
8 minutes. Stopwatch is very, very powerful. Coolest interaction we saw was that if you don't use your original stopwatch and buy something like a Zhonya's, you can stopwatch twice in one fight. We saw that from Fly on Genji, interaction I wasn't aware of.
Yep, really sexy back timing coming in from Prey here as well. He's got the Man Immune completed. We'll continue stacking this tier, but we'll be able to do so with auto attacks now as well, so it's going to be very, very fast.
I wonder if you consider building the Death's Dance on the Varus, because
I normally did.
If you think about builds and what's changed since the last Lethality Varus meta, there's a lot more validity to go for the Dustblade of Jakthar. You don't have the ranged melee penalty anymore. It's less damage for the melee champions, but more damage for the ranged champions. So if you're going to go for a Dirk item, I'd imagine that would be the one. Edge of Night could be considered as well, but with the shorter duration, you don't see it too often. But Death's Dance would definitely help against the Syndra Morg burst up front.
Depends on what you want to do as far as getting your cooldown reduction. Because honestly, what you want to do as Lethality Varus is be able to shoot as many arrows as damn possible in as little time as possible. Therefore, you need to get to that 40%, and the way you do it can be confusing a lot of the time because there's a lot of CDR on a lot of these items, and often you don't want to build the Black Cleaver. So, no. I think the Death Dance is certainly going to be a good option.
Yeah, Black Cleaver's pretty trash on Varus, I gotta say.
And a great one.
Not gonna see that one. Wait and see if Prey has a different read on the champion than others. Second Lethality Varus, and the game kind of happened around Pilot. The Lethality Varus wasn't the problem, it just wasn't the solution for what was a very one-sided game. I believe that was against Hanwha Life, if memory serves.
Team that's just proven itself as a pretty damn good one, taking down KT in pretty epic fashion. 2-0 yesterday. We're not going to take down some wards. Actually gets a whole lot of value out of that Scryer's Bloom.
Notice that Yondu didn't go Aftershock this game. He did not want to be altered by Peanut and go into negative resist. That's the fun interaction with the Sejuani passive and Aftershock. If you time it the right time, they end up taking a huge amount of bonus damage from being negative armor and MR.
Yeah, that is way too much true damage. Pretty easily there as well, so Subjugate. Pretty useful. It's probably not an interaction that Riot was intending. Definitely a fun one.
One interaction that we and ahhed about yesterday was that huge CS lead for the Syndra in the Zoe matchup. And while Syndra has good kill pressure, do notice no massive CS lead for Ian this time over BDD.
Yeah, have to give credit to Lava yesterday. Just dominating that over UCal. Different climate on the map this time around. Things just slowing down a little bit. The focus for MVP has certainly been towards the top side, but now they're going to poke their heads in mid, and BDD flat out doesn't care. Peanut was hanging around, and the Paddle Stars will clear out the minion wave, and what Yondu gets for it is his ultimate on cooldown. Okay, Ian takes a huge burst in the mid lane, and he'll now have to go home.
Auto jump and another W proc could have just been death, as we're seeing those big level 5 Qs come out of the quiver of the Varus.
Oh god, Khan's hit that point where he's happy to go toe-to-toe with ADD as well. Should be able to go home next time he wants to and pick up that Sunfire Cape. He's already got a Kindle Gem to add on top of it. And this could be the turn.
Speaking of fire, we can have a caster in bet.
Oh yeah, what's that?
We will have a 5th Infernal Drake spawning. Remember we had 3 in a row in game 1. Well, we have 3 in a row in game 2 as well.
Oh.
It's actually statistically unlikely.
Yeah, I was going to say no, just because based on probability, it shouldn't be.
All right, how
case.
how about we bet on it? Plate of Wings.
All right, Plate of Wings
it is wing night at the local tonight.
All right.
What are you on? For or against? I give you the choice.
I don't think it will.
All right, I'm for it. It's going to be an Infernal, baby.
Oh, all right. I'm getting some free wings, baby.
All right, we'll wait and see. I, for one, believe in the RNG gods. RNG versus Kingzone works out every time.
Hey, that's true. RNG. No. But you see, Kingzone have been picking up the Drakes. Therefore, RNG going to be against them.
Not listening to it.
There we go. There we go.
No.
I win this. I feel like the most interesting thing going on at the moment is the fact that we have a bet on which dragon's going to come up next. And it's going to take about 12 minutes before it is going to happen, as well as Trouble Bubble lands. Not going to be able to find the kill is BDD on to Ian in the mid lane, and the cleanse wasn't even utilized there either. Both of them very respectful here in this mid lane. Both taking cleanse, respecting the fact that their buttons can certainly hurt. There's ADD now, speaking of buttons that hurt. This is the problem. The lane has turned around, and the sadism means that Khan just stays here, presses that button over and over again, already has 10% CDR. In the mid lane, BDD not struggling like we saw the Zoe yesterday.
With the cleanse down, Ian has to show a lot of respect, and while it seems like a lane that Syndra can profit from, because she doesn't have any side lane control, the Camille's being eked out, Prey and his Q-Max Varus doing a lot of work with lethality. BDD is actually taking the skill matchup and putting a lot of hurt onto Ian. Seeing if Sejuani can answer.
Ult's going to come down. That's a pretty easy one to land, but the stopwatch is invested. Instant teleports come in from both of these top laners as Yondu has to flash to get himself out of the way. Max has arrived. Stand United certainly good for that, but Yondu is surrounded, destroyed. First blood at 15 minutes is going to go to BDD, and ADD was sitting on that wall for a while, was thinking about engaging onto Prey, who is now taking up his position in the back line to poke down MVP.
Blink of an eye, 10 people show up in the mid lane. The action doesn't go super to the side of Kingzone, but they do get a kill, and this would be a nice addition.
Yep, ADD does get himself out. A few early pillars going to be the problem there, but of course being very close to the wall means that you're probably not going to get interrupted. Gets over, that's no worries at all. Khan going to leave the control ward up towards the top side. We are going to have some respite from the action. This was a good start from Yondu, punished pretty well by Kingzone.
The pack up and leave it race is going to be won by the side of Kingzone. MVP get 4 members there very quickly. The Varus isn't actually brought in, he walks up, but he has the cut on the Morgana. No soul shackles in the fight. Ends up going the way of Kingzone, and Peanut trying to take this Rift Herald, but the fight's on.
Yep, and it's going to be BDD making his way in trouble. Bubble spells the end of the Sejuani. See you later, buddy. That's going to be a pretty easy one, and the rest of the map going the way of Kingzone as well.
Nice move by Peanut. The pillar actually interrupted the queue, and Arctic Assault didn't get over the wall.
Oh, wow.
Nicely done from him, right on the edge of vision, beyond frustrated. No flash on him. And the Rift Herald will help them end this top laning phase and amp the pain onto the Camille.
Yeah, do they actually invest it up here? Because this is actually going down relatively low. They probably just need 2 members up here. The Chomp's going to come in, and he even holds on to the Eye of the Void. Will be able to chuck that one in towards the top side if he wants to break the inner turret as well, or take it into the mid lane and take down the turret that can be a little bit more difficult to lock down given the wave clear of the Syndra.
Khan already, this matchup, all these top Camille's this season have had so much misfortune before them. We remember
Yeah.
Crazy's Camille engages into Keen's Jax. He tries not to remember those.
Yeah, we try to forget those as well, but we can't help bringing it up because it was so epically bad.
2 games into Mundo, those have gone poorly. Shen's done 122 damage. It's pretty funny. Remember, he's against Tahm Kench and Varus, so he really can do nothing against Lethality Varus.
We can't hold it against him, you're absolutely right. Prey's actually got himself a pickaxe.
You know what that could mean? Death's Dance.
Death Stance could be coming down. We'll see whether it is the, I think as soon as the hammer comes in, Caulfield's Warhammer. Oh, he's actually going to sell it. Rageblade.
Boo.
What the hell?
Now he does both things not so good.
The old jack of all trades Varus. Now we've got the most ultimately boring situation.
We do. So I don't know what's going on there. We'll have to get out there, but he's kind of cutting the difference between the two.
I'm pretty upset.
I am too.
It's just, I'm not angry.
Just disappointed.
I'm just disappointed, yeah. BDD picks up a ghost in the mid lane. It's not the one that was left splayed all over the rift in our first series of the night. It is in fact the summoner spell.
Observer showing that Cleanse almost off cooldown, so a bit of respect shown. 2-1. Cleanse back up.
Yep. Now BDD going to have the help of Shelly in the mid lane to help push his wave forward. Everyone from Kingzone moving up, and now we're going to figure out exactly what's going to happen. Look, who cares about this turret going down? The dragon's going down, and Papa Smithy, is it going to be the Infernal number 3? Oh, and
no!
it's not.
No!
Oh, they're going to be so tasty.
How do they let me down again, Kingzone?
Everything's so tasty when it's free.
Oh.
RNG winning the game for Max once again. Oh, there we go. Should have stayed in China. We know who our overlords are.
I had no expectations, and I'm let down again.
Being a Kingzone fan feels so similar to being a KT fan now. Oh, it's great. Well, Prey going to charge up that Q that could have been a whole lot more effective if that was a lethality item that he picked up instead of a Rageblade. It just goes against everything that we were talking about that was good about the Varus.
I hope he builds a Thorn Mail next.
Then we'll know that he at least played the tutorial. Okay, we've got orbs and bubbles flying around in the mid lane, but otherwise it is just Kingzone continuing to push forward. Okay, at least the piercing arrow does hurt because he does have a Muramana.
And he does double proc the Muramana active, which is a lot of burst if you think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
If you just auto the minions a lot and build up the Rageblade and then auto a champion, that's actually insane burst.
God, does he go double tier Varus?
Maybe. Oh my God. Maybe this is the next evolution.
Holy crap.
I know.
We've been getting upset when really we need to be getting more excited. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready. I need to see another tier though.
Yeah, he
the
went
Circus
back.
Greaves.
Oh, I'm worried.
Yeah, that doesn't lethal very well.
No, it doesn't. I'm monk-essing just a little bit. However, it does mean that, you know, the auto attacks with the added mana still going to be strong. You can stack up those blighted quiver stacks as well.
That'd be sick burst with if you got the phantom hit on the mirror mana.
Uh-huh.
And you don't have to waste mana because you can hit the minions and then hit champions in the second order. Oh, baby. Well, maybe it'll be a new burst Varus build that'll take over the world by storm.
I'm really excited. He's got a lot of different colors here as well. So, you know, the build at least looks pretty. We'll see what Prey does decide to do with it. I personally am hoping for an Archangel Staff to come in next. But, you know, he's disappointed us so far at every turn. MVP shoving this one forward. Yondu's still hanging around, and Ian's waiting in the wings as well. But that minion wave is going to go awry. Prey, of course, now with this build, does clear out minions very, very fast with that piercing arrow if they're walking towards him. Line wave clear is something that we've spoken about before. Certainly something that the old lethality Varus can do very, very well.
A classic 50 CS winning lane, Mundo versus X matchup, really good.
Yeah.
Really happy times here.
I mean, Mundo's very good in the early game, Papa. You know, falls off late game, obviously.
Well, not going to be an Executioner's Calling for a while either. We've been forced to go Tiamat, and the Trinity Force to have any sort of team fight impact.
Yep, want to be able to try and find a Morellonomicon as well. Is Ian, that hasn't got that one yet, actually decides, well, we'll see whether he decides that the Zhonya's is going to be more important. That's exactly where Maha is headed with his build, the old favorite of the Morgana.
And builds are important because look at the second rung of items. The second item completions are there for Kingzone, and 5,000 gold down means MVP. Outclassed by every completion. Warmogs, Zeeks, Morellonomicon, the Mirror Mana he had earlier.
Yeah.
So many big items, whereas you can see that MVP still working towards them. Ooh. Damage is certainly going to register if any of those trouble bubbles come in, and yeah, Khan has probably got solo kill potential onto ADD.
Yeah, even the briefcases are a big problem now. As you mentioned, the Warmogs did just come down, and ADD, he'd be talking about things like Trinity Force Power Spike, but honestly, it doesn't mean anything when you're 50 CS behind a Mundo that has a level advantage on you as well. Or is that 2 levels? Yeah, I think that's 2 levels. That the Mundo has over the Camille. So disastrous stuff. Kingzone just slowly but surely taking this one down. The first game was definitely higher paced. MVP were at least trying things. This time, Kingzone are just slowly taking more and more and more.
Varus basically a god. He's got working towards another on hit to get the double value off with the Ginsu Rageblade passive. You can never have a fight where he has that passive going, otherwise you're going to lose real hard, MVP, as MVP is being pincered.
Yep, they're looking to try and lose really hard right now, as well as BDD is going to jump his way forward. Glacial Prison just to slow the inevitable defeat of MVP in this team fight, because Maha is not long for the world. All the summoner spells going to be used. Ian comes down and gets some work done, but BDD gets rid of the Morgana, and stands united, used very defensively under the turret. Ian now not sure he can really do anything as the ult comes in onto Prey, but he can't get it.
Camille?
Yeah, okay, hookshot comes in over the wall, and now Hextech Ultimatum is going to get whipped by BDD, but he's going to fall down anyway. Not even going to find the trouble bubble, and MVP, they buy enough time and survive.
No Mundo, no problem for MVP. Kingzone had the teleport on their top laner. He never joined, and that meant that MVP just outnumbered them, were able to take down a couple of kills. A turn on to Baron is looking tricky, but MVP at least going to get the vision around the area.
Yep,
teleport
going to come in. Yeah, MVP, they're saying, all right, 50-50 Barons, it's been our name for a very long time. Yondu makes his way in, but now
they're behind the pit, they're taking a lot of damage.
This is one hell of a 50-50 as Khan, he can just walk in there. They're tanking the Baron. He's happy to set up for this. Peanut just wanders into range of the smite, and there's not going to be a lot that they can do about it. Ian flashes out, not going to be able to offer his damage, as that's going to be MVP taking the Baron, but will they be able to survive? Maha, he's well and truly dead, but losing 2 and getting a Baron, I'd almost say worth.
I'd definitely say worth. They basically brute forced it in a game that Kingzone seemed set up to win. Pretty simple fashion like game number 1. Issue is that after they chase in, they have to chase very far for the kill. Picture-in-picture scene that Kingzone will pick up a Drake most likely, that troublesome Cloud Drake. But the Shen can keep Yondu alive. There's no Mundo in this fight. So many people so low, now 4 squishy members. And ADD, they were all just stacking up for him to get the kills.
Yeah, and it looked like it was going to be an easy Kingzone win, but I think Prey got about 3.5 auto attacks off in that fight. Just wasn't able to stack up that Rage Blade, wasn't able to get any of the damage in. It felt really good for Kingzone, but in the end, Certainly wasn't the case. Last team fight, you can see 1,400 damage. It's not what you want from a Varus that was certainly in a good position to get damage done.
And he got there with a nice teleport ward, and like we mentioned, Khan never got there. Now Khan is going to be supremely strong in the side lane. Doesn't give a monkeys about Camille, gone back and bought a Spirit Visage, so he is,
oh yeah.
He's a really tanky boy. He's looking forward to running at Ian and Maha and not taking damage.
Hey, but at least we've got a Morellonomicon, so the Spirit Visage isn't going to be doing as much work now that Grievous Wounds exists. However, I just don't know whether that's going to be enough here for MVP. If the Mundo is in the fight, it is certainly one that's going to be very, very difficult for them to navigate.
Adaptive Helm pretty much answers all the damage from Syndra and Morg because they have ticking damage that
oh yeah, true.
Can be taken out. The old answer to the on-hit Kog'Maw build as well, if you guys remember. And he's not too worried about ADD, as we can see.
Yep, ADD does get the stun. The Khan does a bit of not caring. Ooh, the crit comes in from the second hit, but see whether they can actually get him low enough. Sadism is still available, and they're not moving the Grievous Wounds down there. So that's going to be where Kill Threat does come in, because the stopwatch is still online.
Where to next for Kingzone? Baron off the map for a while. The last dive a bit wanton, and like you mentioned, no value from all the Prey's items that he pieced together this game. His Flame Horizon is about to come online, as we can see. 323 CS for Prey at 27 minutes.
He's been farming very, very well. What he's been purchasing has been confusing for us, but I'm excited to give him benefit of the doubt as Khan throws down the Sadism. He's just regenning all of his health. Max comes in, not exactly offering very much damage, and yeah, Khan's ultimate is now on cooldown for the next, what, 30 seconds?
Yeah, donated some ults there for some reason. No way to kill Khan. You don't have Executioner's Calling. Even with it, I think he would have lived with Flash, but didn't need it, such as Mundo in the side lane at this point in the game.
Yep, had himself a stopwatch there as well. I mean, there was no chance that Mundo was going to die. But at least they're making proactive plays. This is not something that BBQ did in last game, so that's certainly a good news story.
And they're learning, Atlas.
Oh, there it goes. Executioner's Calling picked up. You can see observers saying, nice work, ADD. You figured out what your first item should have been. However, it's a little bit late in the game. 30 minutes in, and now the Camille can take on the Mundo. That is not the story you want to tell.
Sadly, the double tier Varus. Not going to happen in this game, but maybe you've inspired someone for a future solo queue game to lose some LP. Tweet it, Atlas TV, if you try double tier Varus out.
Yeah, let us know whether it's a great build or whether it's absolutely awful. The more awful it is, the more likely I'm going to play it as soon as I get home.
Kingzone can still try to push up around the red buff area for MVP, but no Baron to fall back to makes it a lower percentage play than before. They're kind of frustrated that they play with their food too much around the inner turret, and now there's no objective to play around, and thus the game stalls out a little bit, and MVP's hopes for a comeback, while still a bit of a glimmer, the glimmer is still alive.
Yeah, it's feeling definitely a lot better than our last game. 5,000 gold is nothing to worry about. Sorry, is nothing to scoff at. Kingzone still with a huge lead in MVP. That power play, I mean, that was only the amount of gold that they earned in the 4 minutes of Baron that they had, 3.5 minutes. And I have a feeling Kingzone would have made about that much as well, so not really changing that scoreline. Cloud Drake picked up as well as the Infernal, and here's your Infernal Drake puppet. We are going to get 3 of them, but you still owe me some wings.
Well, devastated about that, but you win some, you lose some.
That's true. And hopefully Kingzone can have that mindset as well after their particular loss. It was probably one that cut a little bit more deep than losing a probability race and buying your mate some wings.
I honestly think Kingzone fans are the ones that really will be the magnifying glass on, because your team needs to. Now, if you are a Kingzone fan, they need to hear about it, as Mundo's probably okay.
Yeah, Khan doesn't really need to hear about it, as Teleport's going to come in. He's going to get some more attention, and right now he just straight up doesn't care. Chains of Corruption fly forward, ADD. He is free food, and if you waste your time trying to kill a Mundo, you best believe that Kingzone's going to punish you for it. BDD now on the outskirts of the fight. It's a good stun to come in from Ian, but now the cleanse is on cooldown, and Maha, they're just going front to back. Straight forward goes the Kingzone train, and they're just going to mow down whatever's in front of them. They've already gotten rid of Maha and ADD. Now, what comes in? Thankfully for MVP fans, a minute and a half on the Baron. They're not going to be able to take that to capitalize.
A late Executioner's Calling isn't going to help Camille versus Mundo. After the buffs, you actually do more healing as Mundo when you have a healing reduction on you after level 16 than you did previously. That is the story there, is they gave so much healing at level 16 to the Mundo that 40% reduction isn't enough to actually put him in a bad spot. So Mundo goes where he pleases, they just kill whoever they can get their hot little hands on. Ends up being Maha in this particular fight. And they're going to take everything on the map as a back end. The Baron buff, sadly, for MVP, not a game changer.
Yeah. The Baron buff not going to be available for Kingzone either, so I guess that's okay. MVP have an opportunity to go back there and demand another 50-50.
Late game, baby.
Oh. ADD is looking at the late game a little bit worriedly at the moment, given the fact that they're 7,000 gold behind now, but at least the Gathering Storm's there.
50-60 minutes, they got this.
I feel like the Gathering Storm is their opponent, though. I mean, look at the items that have just been picked up. You got another Spirit Visage coming in for Peanut. He has a lot that he can utilize that one with, and there's a Sweet Hat on the Zoe. Oh, good God, this is getting real worrying. Another Infernal Drake. That's triple Infernal as well as the Cloud as BDD. He's going to get stunned, but he doesn't care. Portal Jump. He's certainly pretty good at that one. ADD's going to get out, but getting out is not what he wants. He wants to be able to demand respect in this lane, and he can't get it against the Mundo now.
And Camille get out as a counter pick in the top lane to Mundo. We've seen enough. Pack it up. We don't want to see it anymore. No
the last
good.
picks have left a little bit to be desired today. Red side navigation could be better.
Just coming back to what I was saying. It's at that point with Kingzone's underperformance internationally that you can't really rely on general LCK fans to send the good vibes to Kingzone. It really needs to be the Kingzone fans. Get out there on social media, try to contact and send the team energy, because whatever the result is today, it doesn't change what happened at the last couple of international events in anyone's minds. Probably not Kingzone, definitely not the fans of other teams. This is the time to show your support, and all Kingzone can do is take on all comers and win comfortably. First assignment, MVP, looking like they're one step away from that.
Yeah, things are going to get more difficult for them as the games progress, of course. MVP not exactly our top-tier team. However, this is Kingzone. If they are able to win this, remember, moving up towards potential first-place status, not on points, but on win-loss ratio. And that is certainly good standing as we move towards the second round robin for a team that is still definitely, they're defending back-to-back championships here in the LCK. You have to remember.
No team's done it 3 in a row.
Yeah, they have been dominating domestically.
I tell a lie. One team's done it 3 times in a row. That was SK Telecom from LCK Spring 2015 onwards. Kingzone looking to match that dynasty as Khan, well, ADD's coming to take some more pain.
Yep. And look, oh no, he activated his Ravenous Hydra, and that did nothing.
Hey, it reduced healing for 1.5 seconds.
Hey, that's true. And now Khan's Warmox is going to do the rest. Gosh, it's just really frustrating.
What does it look like when Mundo dies? Does it have to involve a fountain laser? He does
I assume it's like all 5 members of MVP using every button ever.
Does he die?
Maybe they stun him enough so that he doesn't get sadism off. Maybe he leaves his computer and just attack moves to the enemy base. Oh, wait, does he even still do? Oh.
Well.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
He's got Gargoyle Stoneplate as well. Good God. If he's actually in control of his champion at all, I just don't think that exists, Pucker.
He's probably sad he didn't get to use his stopwatch before he built the Gargoyle Stoneplate.
Never mind. They're going to engage onto Khan yet again. Not what they want. Kingzone are just going to shove this wave forward and now consider getting Soul Vision of Baron, and Abyssal Voyage is going to deliver BDD towards the top lane. He'll clear that one out. Continue the onslaught, trying to get rid of this last remaining pesky inner turret on the top side of the map.
And your last remaining job, Atlas, is to keep your eyes open for the double proc Muramana massive burst from the Varus. We're waiting to see if the rapid fire cannon can herald this double Blade of Ruin King double Muramana proc.
I'm ready.
I'd love to see it. Could be a lot of burst.
Yeah.
Speaking of a lot of burst, ADD may not be able to kill Mundos, but he's pretty good at killing turrets.
Yeah, he'll be able to get the first turret for MVP of the series at 35 minutes in Game 2.
Yeah.
It explains a lot about how this one has been going. Some vision now on the
time.
Baron, but that is the last blue trinket down, and MVP didn't actually get any information of that at all.
Oh, they know it started, but, you know, what can you do?
They're not going to be able to see the health bar, though. Max is going to make his way over, but he doesn't have a smite. Didn't have the spellbook or anything like that is, yeah, okay, this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see whether Khan would actually take any damage. How much health is that?
A lot.
A quadrillion?
He does.
I think it's a quadrillion health.
He has 46-16 after the stone plate run out. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Well, he's definitely been eating his vitamins and saying his prayers, as Hulk Hogan would say.
Oh, I love it when Papa starts bringing out the wrestling quotes.
I
This
love
is when
me
he
some
knows
wrestling,
that
man.
something's gone well on Summoner's Rift for one of the teams.
All right, Peanut,
hint
you know
everyone,
what you
it's
need to
not
do,
MVP.
Peanut? You need to put the Knight's Vow on Dr. Mundo.
Oh, give him the Zeeks as well. Let's give him everything.
Those crits can get pretty nasty, actually.
Just headbutting people to death.
It really should have been a Phantom Dancer as the final item here from the Mundo. Sadly, not purchased.
Oh, why isn't the Trundle building the Ardent Sensor?
For Mundo.
Yeah, for Mundo. Let's just buff this Mundo
And
as
also,
much as we can.
if we see him start taking turret shots, right now, I believe his record was 16.
Okay.
So if he can get to 17, that'd be pretty impressive.
17 turret
consecutively.
shots. Yeah, okay. I have a feeling he can probably do it, Papa. So, he's got a cute little Durham's Fist here. Do you think that's going to be a Steric's
Promo, maybe? Frozen Mallet,
Frozen
I think,
Mallet
is a
could
bit
be an
more
option.
useful. I don't really know.
Titanic Hydra?
He might not even know.
Yeah, he might not even care. Just wanted a little bit of extra health scaling to come down onto his Mundo, who just definitely didn't have enough health. That's for sure. Moving towards breaking the base. Here on the top side, Prey moves out of the way of the Scat of the Week, and now that CC is down, Prey's going to throw his own in there, and that's going to be the base broken. BDD picked himself up a flash as that was a stun down on Maha, and he cannot stand any further up here. Inhibitor now going to be broken. Khan getting some work done on the bottom side as well, as he's taken down that turret already. ADD wants to move out of the way of this one, and that game of cat and mouse with the pillar is not as relevant when your whole base is getting obliterated. BDD jumps forward. Portal jump thankfully gets him back out of that one yet again. An MVP, you're going to have to pull a trigger or something relatively soon as, oh, Stands United used after the flash. That is not what you want to see from MVP. And the first Nexus turret is going to fall. They're not even going to deal with this mid lane inhibitor turret, and it looks like Kingzone are closing the doors on MVP for this series. Maha explodes, and they are just moving forward. This Mundo, nothing they can do. Prey, unfortunately, is going to get taken down, potentially to his GA, but no, that's not going to happen. And Max is just going to get auto-attacked to death. The Nexus will follow, and Kingzone DragonX have bounced back from Rift Rivals and taken down MVP in our last series of the night.
Dr. Mundo gaining 545 health per tick lets you know that this game went out of order pretty early. Kingzone DragonX, first game Cuz, second game Peanut, no change in the result. Nice performance from them. Khan running around on his Mundo, on the season now 6-6, and the LCK 6-3. They close it out. No one comes away smiling on Kingzone. The fans will be happy to see a victory, but no one else is going to change their opinion. Can't do that on your first match back in Korea. Turns out the damage was done in Dalian, China. But for their fans, this is the result they wanted to see. The people were able to win. They gave Cuz some time, and he played well. Kingzone DragonX, they're taking on all comers. It's all they can do.
Yeah, you can't turn around all of the haters. However, if they had have lost to MVP here, you could imagine a lot of people would have certainly jumped ship. This is certainly what we needed from Kingzone, and now playing with momentum moving into their next series is going to be important. So MVP, not necessarily the opponent that you want to see Kingzone take down. We know everyone just wants to see them be able to be competitive with that of RNG and our teams internationally. However, MVP, first one on the chopping block, will be the first one to fall since Kingzone are trying to make their rise back to LCK champion form for 2018 Summer.
International is a long way away when we're only now finishing the first round robin for Kingzone.
Yeah.
They finished 7-2. They will have to go undefeated in the second round robin to equalize their match score from spring, where they went 16-2. The second best overall score in the LCK, behind SK Telecom T1 going 17-1 in summer 2015. Dr. Mundo ran over this game. We saw another last pick Camille into Mundo. It left a lot to be desired, and it needs to be on the junkie for the future.
Yep. Syndra did a fair bit of damage on the side of MVP, but it wasn't the same Zoe-Syndra matchup that we saw yesterday. I have to say, Lava making it look like a hard counter pick against Yukao, means that I might need to go and rethink what I think of Lava in general, because damn, if this is what happens when BDD plays it into Ian, who is a respectable Syndra player, I don't know what it necessarily means after yesterday's result.
Mr. Lava Lava will be back later in the week for the second round robin.
Oh, you quoted Shaggy.
I did. And Kingzone quoted themselves by saying, when it comes to us on the domestic scene, you know what to expect. They face MVP, they dispatch MVP. The games were low impact. It was very clear that Kingzone was going to win at basically every moment after Cuz went down early in game number 1. Good news for them, plain sailing for them. Interview questions. I wonder if they will be barbed or whether they will be dulled by the interviewers, because there's so much to ask, so much you want to know. From Kingzone DragonX, returning to Korea. I imagine it's going to be a chat with Khan, as his Mundo kind of ran over this game, and while Varus and Zoe did damage, they're poke champions. That's all they can do.
That's exactly right. I'm interested to see whether the questions are going to be revolving around Rift Rivals, whether we're going to get a few of those answers, because now our Rift Rivals teams are 2 and 4. So Kingzone bucking the trend there a little bit. Of course, the opposition not necessarily as strong as 009. He's got a license to kill, but not a license to die.
I mean, it was more
Dr. Mundo.
It was a bit of a license to live, you'd say, for this guy. He wasn't dying any point in this game. He would have been depressed that he couldn't actually use his stopwatch before he turned it into the Gargoyle Stone Plate. And look at that lead. He's 200 ahead of the rest.
Yeah, back-to-back on the MVP rankings. The Mundo was certainly unkillable. A little bit ironic, because a lot of those James Bond films start with 009 dying in some way that we didn't really understand.
009 doesn't got a patch on Dr. Mundo. This man does not die. He does a lot of damage too. That's probably the part that makes everyone a bit frustrated, because turns out he can run at you and do a lot of damage.
Yeah, especially when you build damage yourself. He ignores yours and then just destroys you.
At the end of the day though, if you count the marksman and the answer is 0, Dr. Mundo is coming out to play. He gets the weather forecast. It's plain sailing for a Dr. Mundo carry. Could have been a lot of different things. Again, RNG. Uzi's played the top lane Vayne into the Mundo, crushed the Mundo. Didn't win the game, but that certainly worked out.
Yeah, certainly in the laning phase. Could be something that some of our teams can utilize. Soul Shackle's used by Maha just to delay his death. And this was certainly all she wrote for MVP here. Looks so hopeless when Khan is sitting right in the middle of 5 people at full health and doesn't even need to use his Gargoyle Stone Plate. Towards the end of that one,
well, let's see what the man has to say. Great top laner, a great Rift Rivals for Khan, but the result for his team, far from great.
Yep, certainly is. So we'll see how the interview goes as we throw it to Joel for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your last interview translation for the day. Quick night as we see a 2-0 on both series. Kingzone DragonX looking just as good as always. Coming back from Rift Rivals, as you guys say, but they are on a good note on their first game back. And we're going to talk with obviously Khan, the MVP, and also Gorilla in addition. It is a victory interview for you guys, but it means a lot more when it comes to the international representation last week.
Man, a few words for once, this Khan.
That's the translation right there. It's a mindset of a total refresh, of a restart. Thank you for the MVP. I'm at 700 points. I mean, they get a solo MVP, but maybe a little explanation to do from one of the team leaders out there with Gorilla. First game back. Of course, there's a lot of talking to do about Rift Rivals. Has been a little bit of a disappointment, and maybe a little bit of a serious talk in terms of, you know, how these guys felt about that tournament. I want to hear from Gorilla. Didn't know I was going to be back on this stage, but I mean, the position was given, so there's no excuse to be made. And we did bad, and we lost, and we're not done with the international tournaments for the year, so we still have things to do. I think if we knew that the people there are cheering for us, expected more. And after losing, we, along with the players and the coaching staff, we felt a big change was needed for our team. So a different approach is now being taken, and now we're going to take a different, just a view on how to view our future. So just improve Kingzone is what you can expect from us as the days go by. Of course, a disappointment will be one of the first words that come to mind for Kingzone. And maybe because the fans that have been so caring for Kingzone why a team this so talented as this does this bad in international tourneys. It's been a question mark that has only gotten bigger over the past week.
I guess the knives are out.
Yeah.
And with confidence, would you like to say something? I don't know if I'm supposed to be confident in this sentence, but it is a bit of a jinx because we thought about LCK when I debuted in the last year, and I had to show good performances in there, but I know that it's a bit of adjustment and adaptation that takes a little bit of time for international tourneys as well. Do you feel a little bit different and a little bit more tough? I can't feel that the pressure isn't there because it's something that we have to just try to get that out of the way, but I feel like this process over the last week should help us a little bit because it has been a little bit disappointing and maybe a little more effort. Basically, whenever we just explode on our potential, I feel like our team is way up there with the rest of the world, so we see ourselves on a good position. I'm sure you guys felt like a change was needed internally within the team. But now let's get to the game, because that's an important thing. You guys actually won. You guys aren't losers, so we shouldn't be feeling depressed by all of this, but whew. I mean, Kingzone coming back after that Rift Rebels with a great win off that Kled in game number 1. Did you feel like it was a good pick to go with today? I mean, Kled is a mid and a top laner that is so viable in both lanes, and it can be a very good pick if used well, and we've seen it used against us, so I have definitely had to come to a conclusion that it is a very good pick to go with. And you guys did say that not banning out Kled did have a situation against you guys in the past. At that time, we didn't think that Kled was very good. It was a little bit questionable as to how strong that champion was, but after being defeated by it, we came to the conclusion that it is quite strong. And now you guys are taking the pieces and parts of what you guys have had toughness with, but let's gonna go with some videos here and see some clips on how this all went. A solo kill coming from the top lane. Did you feel this coming? It feels like the supports are always ready to go with, but yeah, I mean, I was looking at this right here and I was very appreciative of what Khan did that in the top lane. Did you feel like you actually saw that solo kill coming? I was going for the damage trade, and I actually thought I would die in one of those instances, but at the same time, if I was to run away forever, I would die and end up dying, so I have to try doing something else and go extra aggressive and just kind of wait for that extra flash that would come through from the opponent top laner, and I feel like I would got the kill there. Extremely smart Khan. As something that's been given a compliment. And you saw Mundo as being the game number 2, just a 009. And it really was against the Varus. We thought that was a weak point when you're playing a Mundo against such a melting, peeling comp. And what do you feel like that was a good pick to go with on that one? I mean, Mundo and Zoe is the kind of the duo we went with. We thought at the same time we had to go with the mage support, and we tried to go with the range ADC this time around, and we felt like that was needed for today's comp today. And it was the ADC and the support in the bot lane doing so well, but the opponent was doing so well, of course, with Camille always trying to put on the pressure. With the top and mid, wasn't it scary? For me, playing with the Mundo, I just have the confidence when I play the Mundo that nothing can defeat me, so of course the early aggression you have to be a lot more aware of and have to survive through that, but once you get past that, Mundo just becomes a thing where nothing becomes problematic. And it looks like some of the clips here where he imbues that confidence, and this was right here. We just soaks up all the damage and literally just not a step backwards for Khan, and you're just stepping forward and not point of scare in any point at all. Did you feel like you don't have the reverse button in hand just going forward every single time? Even if I went deep on that one, I knew I was going to come out alive, so I just had my confidence that I was going to survive that one. perfect game coming from the Mundo and putting out the damage as well. Were you surprised? I didn't actually get to see the damage chart, but it was a very important thing that in the games that you guys lose, and Khan has to be given the Mundo, is a lot of the comments that comes forward because people feel like you just can't lose with the Mundo when Khan is given that champion. I think the champion itself becoming a tanker and a bruiser at the same time, as you can be very defensive but also being aggressive with it as well. So I think as a Mundo you can be a very aggressive laner, so definitely shouldn't be seen as a pure tank that just soaks up the damage. And with Gorilla, you are the captain, and you do have lots of things that collecting the wins along the way. And I'm sure, do you feel like the team environment was getting a little bit better after a couple of days? It's in a positive question. There's a positive connotation that we are asking this question, not anything negative. Well, team morale is always good because our players are very bright and there's nothing wrong with. We are trying to just make sure we do the things that we do well and try to be consistent with that and try to get better along the days. That's all we're doing. We saw the Kled obviously doing pretty well, and we thought that the entire players have been doing very well for Kingzone. Do you feel like you guys have very unique picks in preparation? Well, for international tourneys, you saw very unique picks, and it's something we thought that were a little better than good. So those picks are we have in mind, and maybe should be a possibility maybe in the future. Does it start with G? Is it Garen though? You can answer it as freely as you like. You can play actually a mind game. You can bluff this way through, whether you want to play it a Garen or not. It has gone down a little bit in win rate, but it seemed pretty good. If there's someone that uses Garen in top lane, can it come out? That's an honest response if I can give you guys that one. The most honest one coming from Khan. Well, it's a very classic pick, I'm sure, that people have been waiting for a long time. Still very interesting points that have been put out on today's interview, obviously. Of course, in the end, you guys do get the victory, which was the most important thing. And maybe you want to say something for the last bit? Now we're starting off the second round robin, and we're going to try to show you just the best Kingzone DragonX that we can possibly show. Gorilla, anything you'd like to say as well? We always thank for the support, and there's nothing else to say. We're going to just work hard and just continue to ask for your support. And working hard and getting better is going to be the objective of Kingzone DragonX, to be the best team possibly. We're going to end this last game of round one robin and sending off to you guys with a Kingzone victory.
Thank you very much, Joel. Great to hear that obviously Kingzone have been practicing that bot lane Karthus. All of the questions have been answered. Was a Kingzone victory, and that whole exchange about Garen is really making me wonder whether the classic faker bands are all going to be top tier picks. And we're a Garen away.
And definitely with the knives out for the early questions, you have to ask them because of the big result over in Dalian. I think sympathy will be there from some people for Kingzone.
Yeah.
They'll want to start winning and get some empathy going, because that won't be enough. Even a 9-0 sweep, people will wonder. But it's a good result today for Kingzone. They're just going to try and focus on the next game. I imagine their opening opponent in the second round robin, bit of a soft one. It's just Jin Air. Jin Air coming off a victory, but still another game Kingzone expected to dominate. We only have 2 matches left in the first round robin because of the 6 days a week schedule. We are done with it after our next matches, but tomorrow's going to be a feisty one. Kilios comes and joins me for Griffin versus Gen G, Griffin's final unique team to be played for the first time. And then SK Telecom, the last of the Rift Rivals teams, they have a really tough opposition in Hanwha, fresh off beating KT.
Yeah, we could be staring down the barrel of a 2-6 scoreline for our Rift Rivals team if Hanwha Life Esports are going to dispatch another one. Of course, made quick work of KT Rolster, and then, they could complete their Telecom War collection by taking down another in SKT.
Been a fun day's games here. A bit of fun, a bit of podcasting, some quick results, and I think we're ready to close it out.
Yeah, very quick. So good night, everybody, and we'll see you again tomorrow for more LCK action.